Welcome to the New Jersey Institute of Technology, the Jim Wise Theater. I'm Steve Adubato. More importantly, I'm pleased to welcome back after too many years in a new role, Preston D. Pinkett III, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of City National Bank. Good to see you, Preston.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Steve.
Talk about City National Bank. What is it? Why does it matter so much in the history of this city?
Well, City National Bank started more than 40 years ago here, right downtown. Concerned minority community members said we need a bank that serves the minority community, and City National Bank is what they came up with. Took them a little while to get it started, but early 70s, in response to the social unrest of the 60s, they formed a bank to make loans when the big banks wouldn't. This was all before the Community Reinvestment Act required banks to make loans to minorities, when redlining was the standard of the day, and it was a bank that set out to make loans available to people who otherwise wouldn't have choices.
How'd you become the leader?
Well, I was minding my own business, and the bank ran into a little difficulty, and they needed somebody who understood the banking business and who understood how to raise capital and was willing to try to turn it around. It was always a lifelong dream to be the head of a minority bank, an African-American bank. It's part of culture of giving back, and one of the things that I talked to my parents and grandparents about as a kid. So when they called me and said, hey, would you be interested in taking this risk? I said, absolutely.
Tell folks your background and backing before this, because that's how we came to know you, because you've been a top executive in the banking industry for many years.
Way back when we were younger, I worked at Chemical Bank in New Jersey. I worked for PNC in New Jersey. Worked at the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, and then at Prudential. And so I have a wide array of experience in finance and development and investments and lending. And so I was, luckily well positioned for the job when they called.
Preston, talk about the role of a bank like this in a city like this at a time like this.
Yeah. It's, for this bank, the time has always been this way here in Newark, right? So the challenge, look, the bank started with the social unrest of the 60s, which was citizen police conflict, right? And we've been working diligently to try to reach out to the communities to create opportunities to, whether it's homes, whether it's jobs, whether it's short-term cash needs, or savings accounts for Christmas Club. That's the business that we've been in, to try to make things work for people who otherwise might be left behind, right?
So someone says, excuse me for interrupting you, someone says, the bigger banks, they have, quote, more to offer. You say?
They used to. But nowadays, technology is such that small banks can offer everything the big banks offer. The big banks offer more branches, but look, we have a network of ATM machines that covers the gambit. We have surcharge-free more ATMs than the big banks combined, all over the country. So with technology and with the ability to cooperate and collaborate with others, you can get benefits from any bank, right? We're in the communities, we're in the neighborhoods. The big banks are mostly downtown. And listen, I'm not suggesting that people shouldn't bank with the big banks. I'm fine if they bank with the big banks, if they can get what they need. And so what we offer is a customized service for people who might otherwise feel uncomfortable walking into one of the bigger institutions because they feel intimidated or because they feel like they won't be treated fairly.
Yeah, talk about that. Someone who is looking to expand their business or start a business, and they could potentially feel intimidated or just uncomfortable walking into a bigger bank. Describe that experience at your bank.
Well, the expectation is that if you're in business, you've learned how to present yourself to a bank.
One would assume.
But there's nothing in the requirements to start a business that would give you that education.
That's right.
And so we see lots of people come to us and say, here's the information we have. It's in a shoebox. And we actually set up an accounting company so that we could start to do some of the accounting for some of our clients because they didn't have their records in order. But even those people who don't necessarily know how to read it, don't necessarily know what it means, don't understand the risk of growing too fast. And so what we do is we spend a lot of time. Look, my chief financial officer takes time out of his day to work with some of our commercial clients to make sure that they understand where things are.
Actually help them help themselves.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is a non-traditional role for a bank.
Oh, and especially for a chief financial officer of a bank. So it's that personal service, it's that ability to talk to the customers one-on-one. Now, we can't do it with all of them, but we do try to do it with as many as we can because we understand that it's information that will make the business successful. And the way we want to think about it is that it's the success of our clients that matter, not the success of our bank.
Now, Preston, you were, the bank was selected as one of Prudential's 20 stories of strength, but I'm curious about this. There is a fund that was set up, City National Urban Fund, is it?
Yeah.
What is that?
So the idea is, so there's first is that we're banking people in the neighborhoods, right? The other is that the cost to bank those customers is high, right? To do this level of service that I just described is high. And so what we've set up is it's essentially a certificate of deposit that allows people who may not live in the neighborhoods or who may not be low or moderate income, who want to be supportive of the efforts of the bank to deposit money with us that we can use to then make loans that we can use to provide a level of service. And you know, I think when it was set up originally, it was set up with the idea that it might be at a lower rate. We pay the same rate, but the idea is that people know that their money is being used in the communities that we serve, as opposed to simply coming into the bank and being used to buy bonds.
I'm fascinated by I don't even know if it's a delicate balance, but it is the constant balancing act between doing so many important, valuable things on behalf of the community and, quote, making a profit.
Yeah.
You laugh, why?
It's tough. It's tough. There are easier ways to make a living. I mean, the reason you do it this way is because it matters, right? You don't have to. There are easier ways, but not more important ways. And so the ability to do this and to make a difference and to make a profit and to see the change in people's lives and to see businesses develop and to be part of Newark's revitalization is really, there's nothing better.
Nothing mutually exclusive about any of those things.
No, can't be. Can't be.
I got to ask you this. Hopefully the Pandora's box won't open. Can we realistically improve the relationships that need to be improved between the minority community and those in law enforcement? A, and B, is there a role for folks like yourself who are real leaders in the corporate community to help?
Well, we have to. We have to. And, you know, I'm willing to do whatever I can, but it has to be done. I mean, at the end of the day, the interests of the citizenry and the interests of the police need to come together. They cannot continue to collide. I mean, this is just not it's not a prescription for long-term success. And so it's leadership and willing to have a conversation, willing to be honest about what has happened.
That's right.
And willing to share about how it could happen in a different way, right? I mean, both sides have got to be honest. I mean, the police don't want to be in a situation where they're being harmed, and the citizens don't want to be in a situation where they're being harmed. And so why can't we come together and work on a solution that makes sense?
Real quick, positive impact for positive return?
Absolutely.
That's not just a philosophy, it's a way to live.
For me, it is. I mean, what else is there worth? What would you do otherwise? Steal from people? I mean, who wants to do that? That's
why Preston D. Pinkett III, we are pleased and thrilled that he took on the role. 5 years in?
5 years in.
Does it feel like 5 years?
No.
I'll leave it alone. He's chairman and chief executive officer of City National Bank. He's had an incredible career in the financial world, and we are thrilled that he is doing what he's doing on behalf of this bank with a great and important history in the city, City National Bank. Thank you, Preston.
Nice to be here with you, Steve. Thank you for having me.
Stay with us from NJIT, another great institution. We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by NJIT, RWJ Barnabas Health, the New Jersey Education Association, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, PSE&G, the Fidelco Group, and by Verizon. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been produced in cooperation with FiOS One News.